You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Hey, thanks for listening. Ryan, it's a joy always looking at you.
That's nice. Thank you.
You're going out of town, so
yes,
we're getting some work done today. We're doing a couple of episodes today, a couple ads, a couple of
no
intros.
Big news better break.
Yeah, that's true. What was I going to say? Hey, thanks for making our podcast your podcast this week. I know there's a lot of choices out there, but you made ours your choice, and we appreciate that. If you really like this episode, if you're a big Caity Lotz fan, we urge you to give the podcast another chance. Listen to it. If you liked it, why not? It's like, wow, that was a really fun interview. I really liked that interview. Well, let's give it one more chance. Tell us the handles that you could follow us on, Ryan.
At Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. That's correct. So follow us. There's an Inside of You online store. You can get cool merch, autographs, all that stuff. There's my band Sunspin. You go to sunspin.com for band merch and all that stuff. I'm going to be going to some cons, July 10th, 11th, and 12th. I'll be in Illinois, Metropolis, the Superman celebration. Tom Welling and I will be there in Illinois, Metropolis, Illinois. It's really a place called Metropolis, Illinois.
I've driven through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's off, what is that? Highway, Interstate, the 80?
I wouldn't remember
it's
that.
The 80.
But it's not too far from where I grew up, I don't think, either.
I drove from Nashville back to California through that way.
Really?
Yeah, it was fun. It's a good little trip.
Metropolis, Illinois.
It's in that bottom.
I hung out with Margot Kidder in Metropolis, Illinois one year. We gambled together. God rest her soul. But we're going to be doing the Smallville Nights. Supposedly, we've already sold a whole bunch of tickets, so people are going to come see us do a show, a two-man show, which is a lot of fun. It's called Smallville Nights on Saturday night, June 11th, and I'll be signing June 11th and 12th, as will Tom. And then we're off to Australia. Yeah, down under, mate. So if you want to get tickets to come see us, we'll be signing autographs and doing shows June 18th. And also in Sydney, and then June 25th in Perth, both those weekends, and Smallville Nights and all that stuff. So if you're around, also become one of my lovable patrons. Join Patreon. They support the podcast. I love them. They give back in many ways, and there's like different tiers, and you can get all sorts of cool perks and merch. And go to Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you, and I will message you back after you join. I hope you become a patron. Anyway, let's get into this episode. I thought it was really fun. I really loved talking with Caity Lotz.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. She, I bet you have. I bet you've heard that one, haven't you, Caity? It was really fun. She was very open, and I've been trying to get her for a while, and our schedules didn't match up. And we finally got her in-house right here in front of me. It was a good time. Didn't you enjoy her?
She was great.
She was really fun. She's sarcastic. She's smart. We talk about her directing, her life. We get personal. We always do. So without further ado, let's get into Caity. Let's get inside of Caity Lotz. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. Well, something happened, folks. If you're listening now, you'll kind of. Well, Caity, why don't you tell them what happened?
The card was full. So basically we got, 5 minutes and then...
And Caity here, Caity Lotz, who I'm talking with, I definitely saw the director in you. Because the first thing you said, well, let's just roll and let's just do it. I saw this calmness about you that it's okay, it's a problem. Let's solve it. Let's start recording. Let's do this again. I could see it because now I know, because everybody's like, Brandon Routh was saying what a good director you were.
No.
And I know it's something that you really love doing now. And who got you into directing? What was the thing that kind of just where it took off?
Well, I mean, I guess I shot a short film called Twin Turbo.
Twin Turbo.
Yeah, it was a fun thing. And then that got me into the Warner Brothers directing program. And then after that, I was able to, and then I shadowed James Bamford and our producing director, Kevin Mock. And then I directed for one of the episodes of Legends of Tomorrow. And then another one.
What's it like directing? The first time you directed on set for Legends of Tomorrow was the first one?
Yeah, first episode.
Because you directed a couple, right?
I've done 3 Legends and 1 Flash.
Jeez. Has anyone else in the cast done any or done more than you?
More, no. But Maisie, who used to be on the show, she's not anymore. She's directed. And then Jess McCallan as well has directed. Do you have any other actors? I think that was it.
How did you feel like the first time on set? Were you nervous? Be honest.
Oh, I was so nervous. It was quite terrifying. Just because you're not sure what is fully expected you or what, how everything works. I think the most nerve-wracking part was always when it came to blocking, because you're like, okay, and then everyone's just, and you're like having to communicate with everyone at the same time.
You're the director. All eyes are on you. What are we doing?
Yeah, and you're trying to explain to the actors, and hoping to try to, if you have some idea that you want them to do. And so you're, especially on Legends, there's so many people. And, I like to design a lot of camera movement things.
I got it now. I got it.
Okay.
Good checking.
All right.
You said.
And it kind of requires maybe specific movement from the actors and the camera, and it's kind of like a dance, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it's just all eyes on you, and everybody has all the questions, and you're supposed to know all the answers, and it's.
Do you ever say I don't know?
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me think about it. You do. You don't have your ego. You put your ego. You leave your ego at the front door.
I think in the beginning I was more. I didn't want to say I don't know, because I didn't want to people think I don't know what I'm doing
or whatever, right?
Yeah, or I just felt like as the director, it is my obligation to know, and so I should know, because it's my responsibility. And
Right.
now, way more often, especially I noticed this time on Flash, if there was a question, it would be, and I didn't know, I would be like, I don't know, help me figure this one out, or what do you think? And I think that's also really helpful with actors too. If you say you need something, or you don't know something's not working, but you're not sure how to fix it, and to just be like, I'm not sure how to make this work. Can you help me figure out this? And everybody then is also kind of then gets to shine a bit too. So people can offer something that maybe you weren't thinking of.
It's also because I got to direct. I directed a feature, and I directed an episode of Smallville and a short as well. And I remember the one thing I hated as an actor was when a director came, okay, so you're going to be over here, and you're going to be over here, and you're going to take your glass, and you're going to walk on. I'm like, whoa, bro. I'm not doing. I mean, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Why am I going there? What's my motivation? Not just because as a director you go, he'll go over there.
Yeah.
And actors don't like that. At least I don't. Some don't give a shit. Some are like, put me wherever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing too. It's it's different for every show, and it's different for every actor. Because some actors are like, just tell me where to stand. Tell me where to stand.
They don't care.
Yeah, and if you get too it's don't stop, just tell me where to stand. And then there's other actors who really want the reasoning behind everything. But yeah, I think it's if you want the actor to go over there, then put some prop that you want them to pick up for something and place it there,
right.
Whatever it is.
Have you had toughies? People that you're just like, oh my gosh, they don't trust me. Because in the beginning, when it's your first time directing, you're like, oh, Caity Lotz, she's directing. Or Michael Rosenbaum, he's directing the episode. The other actors, whether they tell you or not, are going, can she do this? Can he do this? Are they going to is my performance going to suffer because they're not giving me what I need? There's all these things that they're probably thinking.
Yeah. I think I had built up a lot of goodwill with the cast and the crew. So it was a friendly set, and I think people, trusted me already because they knew me.
Right.
There was definitely I think it was a little harder with some of the camera team.
How so?
If them feeling like what you're doing, and that you are worthy of being in that position, or are you just like an actor that's being appeased and getting this, huge opportunity, and it's not fair. And people that have been in the industry for a very, very long time, and I think a lot of times too, if when you want to do something different, then and people have been doing it for a long time, and everything's been done that way for a long time. It's like, that's not how you do it. This is not, and it's like, I know, but this is why, I'm here, is so we can do things, maybe try something different. And, but it's also, it makes sense. You need to earn people's respect.
Yeah.
You might not have it right away, but then you just earn it.
I know what it's like the first time you direct on an episode with other actors that you've been working with, and I was not going to do it. I was too nervous. Like, fuck, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. In my head, I didn't tell anybody else. I was like, you know what? I don't need to prove myself. I don't need to do this. I don't need to. So I was starting to do that, and I walk into the makeup trailer, and Steve Oben, who's the wardrobe guy at the time, who I adore, goes. I said something. He was like, well, everybody knows you're not going to direct. Everybody knows you're not going to do it. You're going to say fuck it.
And you're like,
and I go,
oh, really?
That's what it took. It took someone's disbelief in me. Is that the right word? Disbelief in me?
It works.
All right, well, fine. And I went outside and I go, you have to do it now. You have to prove to all these people that you can do it. And, prove it to yourself. And I felt like I felt like I knew how to talk to actors. I knew how to, get good performances. But the technical stuff, and you have this team around you. Thank God. It's not like you're directing your first thing and you're like, the camera guy doesn't know me. He's been doing these episodes. The lighting, the makeup, all these things are there for you to make it easier, right? Mm-hmm. So then going off and doing your own thing, it's a little different because it's a little raw. It's like you're hiring everybody.
Oh my God, it's so much. Yeah, that to me, the whole benefit of working in television is like, you come on and you just get to be the director. You're not having to produce and figure out like craft services and hire all these things. It's like, you just go, ooh, I would love to have, this prop or this set. And then everybody's like, great, let's make it happen. And like that team is already put together to just make those things happen, which is amazing.
Yeah. Have you had that moment where you're just like, as many moments I'm sure as you had where you're like, oh, fuck, I should have done this. I should have done that. Do you ever, well, go answer that. You're going to answer that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course, all the time. I think.
When does it occur to you? Does it occur to you on set sometimes? Does it occur to you when you're watching dailies?
Both. I'm not a big fan of watching dailies unless I need to. But
let the editor call you and say, we need this.
Yeah, I mean, I usually always have everything we need. It's just sometimes it's like, that could have been, I'll think of a cooler shot later, or a transition, or something that I could have done that I didn't do that I wish I did. And I think, part of it too is like, you have to just like be decisive on things and just keep moving forward, and you don't have a lot of time. So that's stuff when you're rushing and is just bound to happen.
Yeah. How many moments do you have where you're like, I'm good. I'm fucking good. This was a good moment. I was really a good director today. Do you have those moments where you feel very confident, very sure of yourself? Wow, you're really hard on yourself. If you have to think about this, you're incredibly fucking hard on yourself.
Well, I was trying to think like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No, maybe. But I think I'm good at it. Like, I'm not to be like...
You do. If somebody said, are you a good director? You'd say yes. You wouldn't hesitate.
I think I do have like a knack for it. I think that...
What is it? What is it about, if somebody said, why do you say you're a good director? What is it that why you think you're good?
Or have potential to be like,
we're all working hard. You want to get better and better in experience, right?
I think I have a good balance of like right and left brain. So I can be very creative and have all of those things, but I also understand like getting things done in a certain amount of time and being efficient and all the other elements that come with directing that are about, leading the team as well, being a leader on set. So I think directing has very much like you got to have both sides, not just being creative and not just being, logistically figuring things out. It's like kind of having both. So I think I kind of have both of those sides.
Inside of You is brought to you by Magic Spoon. I have talked about these guys quite often. When we're younger, we eat the hell out of cereals, and it doesn't matter because we're young and our bodies can handle it, and we're not going to get overweight, and we're not going to have all these negative results right away. I mean, you do, but we don't care as much when you're younger. But when you get older, you're like, I can't do these cereals anymore. All the sugars and the fat and all the whatever the heck is in there. So I'm here to tell you that you can have cereals now. You can have beautiful, lovely, tasty cereals. And Magic Spoon provides those. Check this out. Ryan, tell us what's in a box of Magic Spoon.
0 grams of sugar.
0.
13 to 14 grams of protein.
It's not much.
And only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving.
Wow. Only 140 calories a serving?
Can you believe it?
It's keto friendly. It's gluten free. It's grain free. It's soy free. It's low carb. Build your own box. 9 available flavors to build your own very customized bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, maple, waffle, blueberry, muffin, cinnamon roll, and honey nut. I need them to send me more stuff because there's a few of these that are new. They just keep it. They're so successful now that they're getting all these new flavors, and I need to test those flavors out. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Because they sent us some boxes and we tasted it and we really liked it, but I want more, Magic Spoon. I need more. They're like, we'll go buy them then. Okay, well, maybe I will.
And you know what's even more exciting, Michael?
What's that?
Magic Spoon just brought back their cereal bars. They were so popular that they brought them back permanently.
Yes.
It's a perfectly convenient on-the-go companion for your cereal.
Guys, you got to check out Magic Spoon. I've said this before. I've had friends text me, email me, and say, come on, is this stuff really good? I'm like, yes, it is. And then they buy it and they love it and they know that I'm not lying. Go to magicspoon.com/IOU to grab a custom bundle of cereal and be sure to use our promo code IOU at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/IOU and use the code IOU to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring our episode. And now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. One of my favorite sponsors, by the way. Ryan, what does burnout mean to you? Not like you see these guys that are burnouts.
No,
like
that's different.
It's completely different.
Just being depleted.
Depleted of energy.
Overworked.
Not making enough time for yourself.
Yep.
Have you guys felt burnt out? I know I have. I constantly feel burnt out. It feels to me like I just don't have energy to do anything. And, you've got to take time for yourself. You've got to pay attention to your body, your mind, and BetterHelp is there for us. Ryan, I know, still uses BetterHelp. A lot of my listeners, listen to BetterHelp. Life can be overwhelming. It sure can. And many people are burned out without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation, irritability, fatigue, and more. We associate burnout with work, but that's not the only cause. Any of our roles in life can lead us to feel burned out. BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. I don't know how many times I say this on the podcast. Be good to you. Be good to yourself. Talking with someone can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life. I know that I get so in my head that I sometimes don't know what to do next. I'm overwhelmed with life. I'm overwhelmed, and I just tend to go back in the bedroom and just fall on my bed and try to sleep it off instead of dealing with my shit. Mm-hmm. If I could say that. I don't think BetterHelp cares. It's real stuff here I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But talking to a therapist, talking to someone who's objective, someone who can, who will listen to you, who's a professional, it helps. It really, truly helps. And don't take my word for it. Take Ryan's word for it. Take all the patrons and all the people around the world that use BetterHelp.
Yeah.
Take their word for it.
Yeah.
BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, I can tell you that, especially living out here in California. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/inside. That's BetterHelp, better, HELP.com/inside. Do you ever lose your cool? Have you ever just been like, shut the fuck up?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
But sometimes that to me, it's not even losing cool. It's just like what's necessary in the moment.
Right.
If it's, like things are out of hand, it's like sometimes you have to, it's like reel things back in. And if doing it like, okay, guys, everybody, like isn't working, then you gotta do what works.
And do you find that you have different ways of directing to different actors? Like, oh, Brandon could take direction. I'll give it to him this way. I could be hard on him and he can go with it. This one I need to coddle a little bit. This one, do you find that?
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's kind of like too, especially some actors want to know why they, and they want that explanation and they want to get into the feelings and all the stuff behind it. And other actors are like,
Let's just do it.
Because sometimes too, it's like if you need, say you want an actor to do the line facing, you want them to do the line facing this way.
Right.
Because if they turn over their shoulder like that, you have a whole nother setup. You have to turn around and get that line. And it's going to take, and if you don't have that time, you need them to say it that way. And so it's some actors, you're like, hey, we're going to get out of here way faster if you play that line forward.
The actors that kind of know what they're doing, they'll say those things.
Yeah, I think a lot of actors who've been in TV for a long time, they can rationalize it and do it themselves easily. Other actors do not want to hear about camera. Do not. It's insulting to be, like, hey, can you throw that line like for this way for, it's like you need to be like, I actually think, that you're so mad at them right now. They don't even want to look at them. And so, it's like, don't even like you can't even, they don't even deserve your eye contact,
right.
Whatever it is. There was something I forgot, like, maybe it was Cindy LeMay's book but there was a direction about he needed the actress to fire a gun and she was doing it so quick and it was like, couldn't even see it. But you could tell that actor like, hey, you're going so fast, like we can't even see you. So just, be up there, slow it down and be up there longer. Or you tell the actress like, you need to make sure you really get a good aim because you can't just fire it without taking aim. So make sure you've got, you lock eyes before you fire. And now that actress, instead of being like, boom, it's, she's coming up and actually has something to do.
Motivation.
Yeah, which is such a gift because that then, and if you can communicate something like that quickly, I think every actor would prefer that than just being like, camera needs you longer because then they have to come up with their own justification. But it's sometimes hard to think of a concise way to say things. And so a lot of times directors, if you're like, oh, because you don't want to look at that person and it's too long.
Right.
But if you can be concise about everything, I think everyone would always prefer an action to, kind of do.
You really love it. I could tell your passion. You just like when you're talking about it, it's just, you could see it, how much of a passion you have for it. It's cool.
I think I needed the challenge too, after playing this character for so long.
Sarah Lance.
Yeah, Sarah Lance.
Right.
Sarah Lance. And I needed to be creatively stimulated and challenged. And directing is incredibly challenging.
Overstimulation.
It's so much work.
It's so much work.
It really is. And I think, I'm assuming it gets easier the better you get because you just,
Yeah.
Whereas right now it's like, I really think everything through. And so it's just a lot of, and there's just so little time to do it too, which is hard. Like I just directed an episode of Flash and I got the script the first day of prep. So I read it and then it was like I had my first meetings for prep. And it's hard because you get on those meetings and it's most of prep. Anytime you're in a meeting, it's mostly for all the other departments for you to answer the questions and give you all the information. And so it's like, okay, well, with this, like, do you think, you're going to need, like, how many, like, VFX shots do you think you'll need for this? And I'm like, I have no idea. I literally just read this thing.
Right, right.
And so there's so much, and you have to do, like, all of the work to know. For me, it's like I want to have time to think everything through because you know what camera equipment you want for the type of shots that you want or the prop. Like everything has to be pre-planned because if you get there on the day, it's like then you don't have the whatever it is that you need. Or
Yeah. One of my friends, he was a producer on Smallville. I remember he said, I go, just give me some direction. Give me some insight because he's directed so many things. Greg Beeman. And he says, don't give an actor more than 2 notes at a time. And I go, why? He goes, most of them can't handle it. If they start drifting off after the second one. They're because they're thinking about the first and second. You're giving them too much information and you're not going to get it. Get these 2 notes. Be clear about it. Just go, hey, just 2 things. Do this, do this. Then the next take, you could say, okay, great, and get to that 3rd and 4th thing. And it was a great note for me because I didn't want to over-note someone. Is that something you had to learn?
I think in the beginning, I was a bit more. I had a very specific vision of things, like how I wanted it to be done, and when you do have that, then you have a lot more notes because you're trying to shape it into this thing that you want.
Right.
And I think as I started to do it more, I had less. I would have less notes because I was more just working with what they gave, and I would only have things that I more really needed story wise.
Right.
But yeah, I think it is. And some actors can handle a lot of notes, some none, and especially like with blocking, like if you need, like that's sometimes really hard for people moving to places
Yeah.
while they're doing things.
Yeah. What about directing yourself?
That is, it's not my favorite to do, to act and direct at the same time because so much of the work is like done when you're sitting there behind a monitor and watching. Like, okay, I got that shot. I still need this, and ooh, that performance or whatever, the camera move. And if I'm on camera, I can't see.
But they can't write you out of a show. They need you in there.
Well, in the beginning, they wrote me out and like gave me a lot of time, and it was awesome. I think I was like in one scene in my first episode, and then this last one, which was for the 100th episode, when I directed the 100th.
You directed the 100th episode. Boy, they must really believe in you to direct a 100th episode. Seriously. That's pretty incredible.
It was cool. I felt really lucky. But it was incredibly challenging because I was working a lot during prep. I was in the episode before. And I think maybe because the one before I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. Like I can do this. But I lost a lot of my prep time, or I was trying to prep in between takes on set. And so I didn't get as much time. We had a late script, and it was really technically challenging because we had like a lot of motion control stuff with the camera, and one actor playing 2 people. I had a scene with like 16 actors in it. It was
good Lord, son.
but like I can't. There's not enough time. If I had enough time to go and watch playback, I would love it because I actually would prefer watching myself, and I can go, oh, this would be better. This is the beat I'm missing, or
I like that too.
Yeah, and
I don't
also
mind watching them.
There's so much of acting is with the camera and what the camera catches, and I think in the beginning I was like very, like, oh, it's just about being real. And even now, like I watched, my boyfriend and I were watching Mad Men to just see this like 60s. We're trying for something.
And you were in that.
And we watched, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. But just seeing a little bit of it, I was like, wow, I am completely unaware of the camera. And which also I think
is that good?
I think there was like a rawness that's nice to it. But there's also things where I'm like, it would be better if you could see your face, and things if you're looking down and because you're thinking or you're emotional, and this is where you would be, but it's like no one cares. It like
you can't see it. No one, right?
And so maybe that's what feels real, but like this is gonna come up so much better. And
yeah,
I think I'm having I used to like pride myself on being like, it's just raw and like it's not about the camera. But now I'm like, no, I think having the technical, being able to keep that with a sense of the camera, is better.
Inside of You is brought to you by Shopify. If you don't know what Shopify is, let me just tell you. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Shopify is something that I use, that's easy to use, that helps me navigate throughout my merch, all the merch that I have, tells me what's my best sellers, tells me when I'm running out of something. It's so easy to use, and I don't know what I would do without them. I started out using Shopify, and I had like one product. Now I have like 30 products. I'm always adding new ones. It's easy to use. It's easy to add things. Shopify really makes it amazing, especially for small business owners or anyone who is starting a business. Shopify is there, and they've got all the tools there for you to use to help you navigate through, your website or whatever, your merch, whatever you're selling. Shopify is there. Believe me, like, this podcast started out selling very few things. I think I was selling a T-shirt, right? Now I'm selling lunch boxes and mugs and tumblers and T-shirts, and it goes on and on. And I always check it. I'm always like, oh, look at that. Our sales were up 25% this month. Why was that, Ryan? Oh, that's because I had this new merch that people like. I can see things in real time, and that's Shopify. Like mine, Shopify powers millions of businesses from first sale to full scale. Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more.
Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of your conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond.
Shopify is more than a store. You can connect with your customers. I have done that. I have contacted them, seeing what works. Asking your customers, helping them out if something's wrong with an order. You could drive sales, manage your day-to-day. Shopify instantly lets you accept all major payment methods. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/inside, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/inside right now. Shopify.com/inside. Do you feel, I don't know, the way you talk about directing kind of makes me feel like you're going to eventually gravitate towards just directing and not act. Do you love acting as much as you used to, or you found a new love, or you think you can do both?
I think I can do both. I always just follow whatever I'm curious about, like whatever I'm passionate about. It's always led me down the right roads. And I never thought I would be an actor. I'd start even thinking about it, really.
How old were you when you started acting?
I think I was 22.
22 when you started?
Yeah.
And how did that start?
Well, I came up to LA for dance, and I was dancing. And then I moved to Germany to be in this girl group. And
Right.
so I was like kind of doing the backup dancing thing. And then I was in the forefront. And then I came back and because I was like, and the girls still wanted to do like the singing group. I'm like, singing is not my gift to share with the world.
But you could dance.
And I could dance. And I went on tour with Avril Lavigne and like.
How did that happen? How do you just tour with Avril Lavigne? Do you audition for Avril Lavigne? Mm-hmm. So how many girls audition for an Avril Lavigne video? Or tour?
Tours are always like tours are big ones for dancers. So you get a lot of people. I don't know.
How hard is it? How many do they choose?
How many? Well,
maybe 20?
To
Total.
go on tour?
Yeah.
Oh, not even close. There's like, I don't know, 4 girls and 4 guys.
So you were chosen at the 4 girls out of probably thousands.
Yeah, I don't know how many thousands auditioned for Avril, maybe. But
did you like her?
Not particularly.
Really? Did you not talk with her much?
No, she was very. She wasn't very outgoing.
Right.
She didn't make much effort to connect. Though I guess I also didn't. I've never been like a.
Hey, let's be friends.
Yeah.
So you feel like it was partly your fault, partly her fault, probably.
No, well, I mean, you've seen pictures where like fans pay like $500 to take a picture with her or something, and they like have to be like 2 feet away. Have you seen that?
Only during the pandemic.
No, I think this was not a pandemic.
No, I'm
thing.
saying in pandemic I can understand
Yes.
2 feet away, but wow.
And I just kind of remember thinking like, if you really like do not want to be around people that much, like, and don't want them touching you, like, then don't offer photos ops,
Right.
where you're going to be like, give me your money, but don't touch me. Or maybe there's something, who knows? I don't know. Like, who am I to judge what her reasonings are? But
that's just your experience.
Yeah, she wasn't particularly friendly. And there was her manager or whoever it was at the time. There was like this just drama stuff, and they felt like we were leaking stuff to the press about things. And it was like, and she didn't want me another like blonde on stage, and I didn't want to dye my hair. So I was like in a wig, and I just was like kind of I remember like looking at myself, I'm on tour and I'm, backup dancing after kind of more being in the front, and I'm in the back, and they're like not very nice, and have this wig on. And at one point I got an eye infection. I was like, my eye got infected, and I had like a sinus infection. And you're like on a tour bus, like this
They
tour
don't care.
life.
You're dancing.
Yeah, I had like, and it was like, I remember I had to wear like my glasses because I had contacts and an eye infection. And I couldn't not have my glasses on. And so I was on stage with like glasses and this big wig. And I just was like, who am I? I don't even know. Like, this is not me. What am I doing with my life? And then I came back, and that's when I started taking acting classes. And
because of the bad experience you had, you felt like I want to do something else.
well, it just wasn't me anymore. Like, I wasn't this. It's time for something new. And
These tours are mostly designed for younger people, young dancers who have a lot, right? So did you feel like?
I mean, I was like 20.
So that's pretty young.
Yeah.
That's pretty young when you're doing it, and you quit probably by the time you were 22.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you like it for a while? Did you like? Could
dancing?
you dance with? Didn't you
God.
go on tour, or you did a video for Lady Gaga?
Yeah, I danced with Lady Gaga.
I bet she was cool.
She was cool. I didn't like hang out with her or anything, but she would come to rehearsals and put the work in. And she was like Lady Gaga all the time. I remember doing the paparazzi music video, and it was like 4 a.m. We show up at the set, and she shows up, and it's like she's got like, I don't know, she's full out already. She doesn't show up in sweatpants and like go get dressed and stuff. It was like she arrived, Lady Gaga has arrived, and she hasn't even gotten into the Lady Gaga look yet. So I was like, but she's, and she worked hard, and she really like showed up. She showed up. It was like, yeah. And I think that actually, like, I got called to go on tour with her, and I had just started like my my 2-year Meisner program in North Hollywood.
Sanford Meisner.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't go on tour because I am in, theater school. Like I am becoming an actor. And
Was your agent like, come on, what are you talking about? This is a big opportunity. Come on.
yeah,
And
because
you-
it was, I mean, for as a dancer, it's like,
that's the top.
but I look back at myself, I'm like, good on you. Like like have that belief to like turn something like that down, because I was like, no, I'm going to be an actor now. Like,
Well, maybe it's that sort of decision making which makes you a good director. To be able to say, no, I know this sounds so appealing, but it's not right. It's not right now. This is what needs to be done.
yeah,
I need to focus on this. So maybe that was it. What was the first acting gig you got?
Mad Men.
That was the first gig you got. That's the big show for your first gig.
I remember going on to set and like, kind of, I had no idea that, because my acting school was not like for camera. There was no, it was like more theater type, just learning how to actually act and the craft of acting. And I remember like, kind of doing it and then coming back and there's like all this tape on the floor. And I'm like, what? Like what, why is there tape? Why is the tape on the floor? And they were like, those are your marks. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Meisner didn't teach me about marks.
No, they didn't.
No.
Same too, where it was like, we were drinking or something, and they were like, oh, you drank on this line. And I was like, oh, yeah, but like, and they were like, you need to every time in the same. And I'm like, I have to do every time on the same line? Because I was so just like, I'm real and I'm in the moment. Like there's
it's a lot. It's harder than it looks. It's like you have to do all these things. Script supervisor keeps coming at you and go, yes, you drank at this line. Hey, you walked over here when he said
or like
this.
your hand was open, not closed, and so you're like, okay, yeah, fingers here. And then like, and then you switched it and then you're like, God damn it, why did I move so much?
How about the best take? Just use fucking that. It gets so frustrating.
Yeah, and you do it so many times and from all the different angles. And
was it something that did you love it enough? I mean, obviously you loved it enough that you wanted to keep doing it.
oh, I loved it when I was even studying it. I loved it.
What was it? What is it about acting that you really love?
I think I liked I got to feel things. I got to feel everything, anything and everything, good or bad. And I don't, not to say like I'm an emotional person, but I'm pretty in control of a lot of my emotions in life, and can be quite even keeled and things. And with acting, it's like I loved the up and downs of getting to feel things that you might not get to feel in life, and in a safe place to do it, where you're not like destroying your life by emotionally losing it. And I think for me, acting always was my favorite part is when you surprise yourself, when you don't know what you're doing. So like you're in a scene and the way you respond is you surprise yourself, and that being able to like the unpredictability of that and just the things like coming up, it's like, woo, where did that come from? And
Right.
it's like that, and which is kind of, what I learned in acting class. You're doing scenes like that all the time.
Yeah.
And then when you're working in like television, it's rare you get to kind of, those are very special moments when you get to have scenes like that.
Do you still take acting class?
I took in my last break, I did, and then I want to do another one. And I've been actually looking for a teacher, and I've been reading like a few people's books and trying to find like what feels good, because also like when you start to have your own way, after I started working and I got back into a regular scene study class, I didn't like it but it was just this one, but it was competitive, and like the teacher encouraged this like, I don't know. Competitiveness, on and off the stage. And
You didn't like that.
no, I didn't like that. It was like there was a safe place, and then she was taking away that safe place, and and when they when a teacher tries to like shape you into what they want, but it's like you need to always have that humble openness of a beginner, and if you close off to like things, you don't get better, but there's you can get shaped in a way that is not kind of what you want. So it's like finding that balance and making sure you're with the teacher that helps with that.
Yeah. Do you get nervous still? Do you get nervous auditioning? Do you get nervous on set playing a character before you start going? Is there always the nerves going, or is it something that you can put aside and just focus on the work?
On Legends, I don't get nervous anymore.
Not at all.
Acting, no. Because also it's like you've got it. You could do it again and again, and
You know this character.
and I know this character. But auditions, yes, and I think when I go on my next project and I'm playing a different character, I'm sure I'll be.
Every actor
nervous.
is right before they get a part. They're always nervous as shit. I hear from the biggest actors. And then once they do a take or something, just get it out, then they could kind of relax. But everybody's the same. You just want to impress. You want to be good. You want to be on it. And I fucking hate nerves.
Yeah, and it doesn't help your performance.
It doesn't. Some people say it does. It gives you that energy, gives you that drive. But for me, it's debilitating sometimes. It's too much. And just ultimately, it's like, just fucking listen. Listen to the other actor, which is something we all forget.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, that's the number one thing. Just listen to the other person and bounce off that person.
Yeah.
They talk about that with improv. They talk about that with acting. But I found that when I'm not listening, forget it. You're talking to a beginning actor. I could be really kind of like winging it, but it doesn't seem connected. And sometimes I've had like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And the other actor goes, "Are you listening to me?" And I go, "Fuck, do another take. I got this." Just forgetting that I wasn't really listening. I was thinking of my shit.
Yeah.
Do you deal with that ever?
I mean, for sure. I think everybody does. And I think, I'll notice that sometimes where you're working with an actor and it's like they have something that was a response to what you say, and then like they repeat it, but they repeat it as written, not how you said it, and you're like, you're not listening.
They were the night before, they were in front of the mirror running their lines, and this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to say it, and they don't realize but it changes by the way you respond to by responding to what the other actor is giving you. That's
why I really like Meisner, because it's all about that. It's the pinch, ouch, like nothing. Yeah. You don't do anything unless something makes you do it, and everything is off the other person. And I went into, I think it was season 6 or something, and I had all my like acting icons and things on my trailer wall, and and it was the whole thought of all of those things where it's like you don't do anything until something, the other person makes you do something, and not self-generated. And then the first scene that I come on and to do, they're like, okay, but like, we need your eyeliner tight. So like, don't actually look at the actor. And we need to, and it was like, okay. And all of these things that were just stripping away everything that you're
used to doing.
Or that make you feel like it's real and it's
right.
in the moment. And because so much of acting is where you're like, okay, now there's a dragon and it's flying and I'm looking at it, and it's like you're not looking at anything. There's nothing actually there, and you're having to self-generate things, and so it can be hard to kind of keep that balance.
That is hard. Especially, do you have to deal with a lot of that on Legends, like seeing things that this is how it's going to be. This is going to be the CGI thing, and you guys got to react to it, and just trusting. Is there a lot of that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you hate that?
Yeah, I think so. It's just harder. It's so much easier when you have anything, even if like they give a laser pointer, like that moves, is like, thank you so much. Cause it's like, everyone's trying to like have matching eye lines, and the same with directors where like, you're like, please talk me through it. Give me something,
See, I think I would be that guy. I would be like, it's just a giant dragon in the sky. Follow that light, and it's the fire comes out of its mouth and it's fucking just. Would you hate that?
No, that's what you want.
Okay, good, because I felt like I would annoy you.
But some directors that if they don't, some directors it's where they're like, you're scared, and it's like, and you're like, I don't.
so true.
That it's better to be like, roar, and you're like, have anything to react to.
Right. Do you get? I want to know this because no, I've never asked this one, and anybody like Brandon, Ralph, Steven. When you do the multiverse, when you do Flash, Batwoman, Legends, Arrow, you get the picture. Do you get paid for extra when you go on the Flash?
You get paid for it's an episode of
the Flash. So if you're doing an episode of Arrow and at the same time you're going to do an episode of The Flash, their 8th episode, and you're on your 15th, you're getting paid for a full episode on Flash and a full episode on Arrow? That's dope.
Yeah.
How many episodes do you cross over a year?
Well, we don't do them anymore, really.
You don't?
I think Flash did something this year, but the big crossovers, yeah.
But how many did you do, would you say, crossovers did you do?
Well, I mean, in 1 year, there was 1 year where I was on Arrow, Flash, Legends, Supergirl, and Batwoman, I think.
So how many episodes, if you added all those episodes up, how many would there be? So like Smallville, let's say there's 22 episodes, but if I did Arrow and I did this, ultimately I did 40 episodes of television?
You mean in like a season or?
In a season.
Yeah. I mean, this year it was like I didn't do any other ones, but that season, however many we did on Legends, say it was 16 plus another 5. It's, so it helps those numbers for sure.
Wow. Did you like doing the Arrowverse? Did you like doing all that stuff, crossing over?
So the crossovers, not Arrow.
Crossovers, yeah. I'm not the most articulate when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun to go on other shows and see how their shows work and see work with the other actors for sure. But sometimes it sucked because there's just too many people and you're like and feeling like an extra because you're just there and you're like maybe say one line, and it's, but they're fun. Yeah.
If you had to name your top 5 actors that you've worked with on these shows, who would it be? Who's the first person you think of? You just love working with it. No disrespect to anybody else. You love everybody. But if you just like, oh my God, this person has just become a real close friend, or I just love, there's something about working with this person.
Nick Zano. He's just such a gem of a person. I really like the way, I just like the way that his mind works, and he's just a sweet, really sweet person. I really like Nick.
Cool.
Yeah.
How long will Legends last?
Well, I don't know. We don't. They just announced early pickups for a few of the shows, and Legends wasn't one of them.
Are you concerned, or do you care?
Yeah, I care. It's interesting. Like in the beginning, in the first, after like season 2 or something, it was so hard and like pretty miserable. That, and I like wanted off. I didn't want to do it anymore.
Why was that?
We were literally working 14-hour camera days almost every single day, and we were not very well taken care of. It was like LA. There was nobody from LA, no writers, no producers, anybody up in Vancouver. So they had no idea what the conditions were like on set. And we had a few actors at the time that really did not want to be there. And there was everyone in Vancouver was not in charge. They had to just get it done, like what LA says to do.
Right.
And so then the people that were actually there and could see what was going on didn't have the power to make changes and like they were just beholden. And so and then there was a lot of like just it wasn't very good. And then the LA started sending people up, like a writer up, and to make that bridge. And then we got a producing director, and that helped a lot. I don't remember where I was going with that.
Yeah, just
the pickup was
right.
And if I wanted it to go.
Yeah, exactly. If you wanted to go.
But now everything is
worked out.
Yeah, everything it's much more, the working conditions are good, all the relations are good, everyone gets along, has a really nice time. We like the writing a lot.
It's a family.
Yeah, and we're proud of the show. I think there's times
Yeah.
too where we didn't like, it was like, oh, what are we doing? And the show is its own identity, and it's, the writing's good, everything is fun. So I would love for it to go for another season, because also I think it sucks to end it like that
Right.
after so many episodes and such a long time. And CW is historically always told a show when it's on its last season, so that you can do it justice and wrap it up and give it a proper ending.
Yeah.
And I think everything's, there's there's the CW, they're selling the CW, so that's changing things. And but I really would love to do another season to end it properly. I want it to, and
That's
it's
cool that you feel like that. A lot of people are like, oh, we've done enough. We're like, I'm done. At the end of seven seasons of Smallville, I was like, yeah, what else could I do? I'm done. I'm done. I want to go off and do something else. I've done this. I did this. My contract's over. I want to, but to say, yeah, I'm ready to go back. That's kind of cool.
And I think too, is because I'm directing it also, it's, like I don't know, I want to go back. I want to take what I've learned from directing on a different show over there. And
I think it's different too. When I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you feel like they respect you. The powers that be respect you. And there's something really important. I mean, that's incredibly important. I never really felt that. I just felt like, you're gun for hire. And I just never felt that love from the crew and cast. I did. But from, I just never felt.
There's something so demoralizing about it when you don't. And that's in the beginning, I felt like that too.
Right.
And it's like, and there's just this feeling of they're pushing on you that you have no power and you are going to do what we say. And it's very, it's that's not a good feeling.
Like you said earlier, well, you just don't have control.
Mm-hmm.
You have no control over what's going on. Stephen Amell, I asked him about you. What can you tell me about Caity? She is the OG mask wearer in the Arrowverse, the original gangster. Please tell her to move to Austin. What do you mean by that?
I just went to Austin actually this weekend. I've lived in LA for a very long time now, and I mean, I'm a SoCal girl, but lately I've just been feeling like I kind of want a change, and I want an influx of new people, I love my best friends, and most of my friends are here, so that's the only hard part. But
a change of pace, a different atmosphere, something.
And I want to be a little more removed from the industry, I think. I love the creating in the industry, but I think it can become an echo chamber of things and less, new ideas and new inspiration when you're just in it all the time and that's all you know.
Right.
So I've kind of exploring the idea of maybe going on feeling a call to adventure.
All right. Lastly, this is shit talking with Caity Lotz. These are the fans.
Okay.
Rapid fire. You just answer them. If you don't want to answer them, you don't have to. But these are my patrons. I love you guys. Go to patreon.com/inside of you to become a patron and support the podcast. I appreciate it. You get to ask these questions. Raj, what were some of the non-acting jobs you had to take on while trying to get your career going?
I was a dance teacher.
You were?
Yeah.
A dance teacher. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
For how old? How old people? Older?
No, younger kids, little kids.
How older were people? Older people?
Younger. But I started dancing in getting jobs as a dancer when I was 17. So I was able to financially support myself through that mostly, or fully.
Zach P, has been your favorite thing about playing Sarah Lance?
I mean, her evolution is so cool, and I think being able to go on such a journey with this character for different things, and especially being able to get her, I loved seeing her become happy too is really nice, and yeah, I guess the evolution.
Cool. Michelle K, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? That's a tough.
That's a great question, Michelle K.
Yeah, Michelle K.
I mean, my life's pretty good at the moment. Like if you'd
Knock
asked
on
me,
wood.
knock on wood. I think I went through a really hard time, as probably most did, like at the beginning of the COVID, aside from COVID, and have come out of that much better than ever before. So I'm feeling in a pretty good place. But I guess what's my biggest challenge?
Maybe leaving LA. Could be one of them.
I don't know.
It's a tough question.
Sometimes when questions are really good, I'm like, I gotta really, really like think about it and have a good answer. But I guess on a smaller sense, trying to get some schedule, like a routine into my life, a healthy routine, because I've just been so on the go. I'm never in one place for a long time to be able to get healthy habits, and I'd like that's a big challenge for me right now.
Yeah, like what do you do for your well-being? What do you do? Are you a big advocate for exercise and activity? I mean, what is it you do to keep your mind straight?
So I journal. That's like a big one. Every morning I journal. And
For how long?
However long I feel like. Sometimes I write like a paragraph. Sometimes I write like 3 pages.
Wow.
And it's just like dumping things. But I think it's really important to take some time to reflect on your life and think about your life, because if not, it'll just go in a direction. You have to take aim, like you have to curate your life. And I think journaling is something that really helps me feel like I'm active in being a creator of my life and how it's going and who I am. And I think a lot of times we just get swept up in the momentum of things. And the next thing you know, it's like a year has gone by
Or 10 years.
or 10 years. And have you done what you wanted to do? Or are you, going in a direction you want to go? Are you the person that you want to be? And that was a big one for me learning when I was going through that hard time, is like if you can be whoever you want to be, like just start doing the things that person would do. Like you want to be the person who works out every day, then just work out every day. Like just do it. Like start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes one step at a time. It sounds so cliche, but like you have to start somewhere. It sounds so overwhelming when you're like, I have to do this. I have to lose weight. I have to do. Yes, if you think about the whole thing, but tomorrow or right now, do it. Go for a walk. It's those little things that just add up to get you where you want to go.
Small, manageable goals.
Yeah.
But you just do them. And like the more you do them, the smaller things, you're like, oh, okay. And then you're proud of yourself. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about who you are. And that gives you more strength to do even more things.
Last question. Nico, what do you consider to be your acting role model? Whose career you'd like to emulate a little bit? First person that comes to mind.
Charlize Theron. Am I even saying her last name?
Yeah, Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Strong woman, too. Very strong.
Yeah. And does like a nice mix of big blockbustery things and also like incredible indie films.
Are you going to direct features? Do you want to direct features?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want. You want to transition into that.
I think there's a creative freedom and like that you get in a total world building that you get to do with a film and the time to like really, really like craft and curate it and have that, control.
What song was that? Who sang that?
Janet.
Control. You don't know that, Ryan?
Janet Jackson.
That's because he's really young. Although you're young.
Yeah, but Janet Jackson.
Yeah, Janet Jackson. It's the mustache, Ryan. I think it's the mustache. You just trimmed that
I know
down.
Florence Welch. We could talk about that.
Yeah. I know her. This has been great. Thanks for being so open and honest and just really cool. I mean, I had a really good time talking to you. This is cool.
Yeah, thanks. It was nice talking to you too.
Thanks. There you have it. Another episode in the can. can. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you really like this episode and you enjoyed listening to Caity, I urge you to stick around next week, give the podcast a chance. We're always trying to get new listeners, new people to come on board and spread the word, spread the gospel, if you will. It's important. So again, our handles are at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at Inside of You Pod on the Twitter. Ryan, you got anything going on?
I mean, I'm just traveling a lot finally.
You are traveling a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to be exhausted.
I am.
Are you going to be grumpy when you come back?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not either.
I hope I get a little respite, get a little clarity, see a little different part of the world that's not my apartment.
Yeah, you're going to Ireland.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, France, England, Spain.
Wow.
Trying to pack it all in one.
Pack it all in.
It might be too much fun.
That might be too much fun.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a great time, but I think you are going to be exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
About a week into vacation, I'm kind of like, I want to go back home. I just want my bed. I want clean clothes. I want a hamburger. Just want my own shit.
You can get that anywhere.
Yeah, I guess you sort of can.
Almost anywhere.
It's probably a Parisian hamburger is probably expensive.
But it's tasty though.
But it's tasty. And that French bread.
Brioche bun.
Ooh, la la. Hey, check out the Inside of You online store if you want some cool merch. We got Funko Pops of Lex Luthor and scripts signed and lunchboxes signed by Tom Welling and myself and a bunch of other stuff, tumblers, Inside of You merch, blah, blah. And I forgot to say well, maybe I did because we'll do it again. But join Patreon. My lovable patrons. If you go to patreon.com/insideofyou, they support the podcast in many ways. There's different tiers. I send merch boxes, blah, blah, blah. Check it out. I'll send you a message after you join. Patreon.com/insideofyou. So I think we should get right into it. We should get into the top tier patrons.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Ryan. Let's do it. Here we go. Give them shout outs. Nancy D, Leah S, Sarah V, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Jill E, Brian
H.
I just saw Brian H at the OMD concert. I went to a concert, OMD Orchestral Maneuvers in the Night. I touch you once. I touch you twice. I got the shirt on.
You got the shirt.
And I saw Brian H. Good to see you, Brian. Nico P, Robert B, Jason W, Kristen K, Raj C, Joshua D, CJ
P,
Jennifer N, Stacy L, Jamal F, Janelle B, Kimberly E, Mike E, Eldon Supremo 99 more, Ramiro, Santiago M, Chad.
W.
W is correct. Leanne P, Maya P, Maddie S, Belinda N, Chris H, Dave H, Sheila G, Brad D, Ray H, Tabitha T, Tom N, Liliana A, Talia M, Betsy D. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Chad L, Rochelle, Marion, Meg K, Trav,
L.
Dan.
I don't remember. L.
Close.
M.
Closer.
N.
Yes, it's Dan N. Big Stevie W, Angel M, Rhiannon C, Corey K, Super,
Sam.
Dev,
Nexon.
Michelle A, Jeremy C, Andy T, Cody R, Gavinator, David C, John B, Brandy D, Yavor. I met Yavor at a con.
Oh, nice.
Sweet man.
Oh, nice.
Yavor, it was a pleasure meeting you. Met him at a convention. Camille S, The C, Joey M, Willie F, David H, Omar I, Design OTG, our good friends Eugene and Leah, Chris P, Nikki G, Corey, Nicole, Patricia, Heather L, Jake B, James B, Bobbitt, Joshua B, Tony G, Megan T, Mel S, Orlando C, John B, Caroline R, Rob E, Paul C, Christine S. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Christine. Yes. Christine S. I just want to keep saying it. Sarah S. Eric H. Spring. Jennifer R. Shane. Shane spelled Shayne.
I've seen it.
Shane R. Emma R. Mark M. Jeremy V. Andrew M. Robert G. And this is a difficult one. ZATOICHI 77. A new one.
Ooh.
Zatoichi? 77? If I messed your name up, I apologize, but I love you. You're awesome.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get there.
I'm sure you'll send me a message saying this is how you pronounce it, but I mean, how the hell would I know how to pronounce that? But I'm glad you're with us. Again, thank you for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it today. I don't have too much to say. I felt like today in today's podcast. It's just like, hey, let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's listen. I hope you enjoyed it. And I know some people say, "Oh, you seem a little like I don't know. You didn't have much to say. You weren't your jovial self." But I am. I'm just a little tired. I went to that concert last night, and I just feel like let the episode speak for itself.
You can't be on all the time. That's
You can't be, man.
ridiculous.
It's hard to be. I mean, could you imagine though if I was just like this? Hey, so Ryan, yesterday I was. I don't think anybody would want to listen if they heard me like that. So that's why I pick it up a little bit. See, that's why I talk like that. That's why but I am me. I am myself. Damn it. I love you guys. Thank you for allowing me to be inside of each and every one of you. Thank you for choosing our podcast Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum as your podcast this week. Continue to listen, follow, and I thank you from myself, Michael Rosenbaum, in the Hollywood Hills of California.
I'm Ryan Tays over here, also in the Hollywood Hills, California.
That's correct. Little wave to the camera, Ryan. Hey guys, be good to yourselves. Please be good to yourselves. You are all you've got, really, at the end of the day. All right, we'll see you.